Привет, привет, я сейчас чайку налью и вернусь, ребятки. Всем привет, ребят. Привет, привет. Спасибо за лайк, спасибо. Так. Вы тоже пришли понаблюдать за тем, как Diablo 4 канет в лету, блять. В хуету, в котлету. Что? У меня сегодня присутствует здесь, привет, чай, кружечка. Ебать, вот ложиться в час ночи, чтобы проснуться в 3:30, это вообще заебись. И вкусняшки, кусок лепешки. Я готов. Заказ музыки выключил, ребят, если что, ну чтоб не мешали. Вот. Охуенно. За сутки спишь 2 часа, просыпаешься на ебаный стрим Diablo, а тебе еще потом через 3 часа в больницу ехать, блядь, в другой город, рот ебал. Привет, а ты будешь переводить для необразованных? Нет. Я буду молча внимательно слушать и думать. На 2 часа поспал. Immortal будут полстрима показывать. Ну ничего. Доброе утро. Экзотик. Ребят, кто с твича смайлики? У кого БТРТ-ТВ установлено, там смайлики нашего канала появились, блядь, 4 штуки или 5, блядь, проверьте. Ну-ка, смайлик в чат, быстро. Приветствую. Одна гифка и 4 смайла вроде. Подскажи, как в пое без палева? Никак. Через трейд, блять. Привет. Можешь оставить ее. Ну, я не знаю. Через клад гильдии, наверное. Привет. Нет, Айгар, у меня есть лепешка. У меня лепешка есть. Вот эта, которая в тандыре, вот это лепится. А вот сыра нет. Ебать, смайлик, пришлите кто-нибудь, я смайлики загрузил, неужто они только у меня есть? У кого-нибудь БТРТ-ТВ по-любому расширение для твича стоит. С кучей смайликов. Ебаните смайлик канала. Я хочу быть уверен, что они не только у меня есть. Я не знаю, где лучше смотреть. А я Оливье, говорит, сделал. Приятного тебе, Оливьяндера. Давайте, наверное, нахуй. Ля. Перейдем сюда.
Hello. That's it. To another Diablo developer update live stream. My name is Adam Fletcher. I am the community director for the Diablo franchise. We've got some wonderful people here. We just have Rod.
Yeah, well,
Rod.
I'm not part of the wonderful crew, I guess.
Yeah. He decided to insert himself as of yesterday, so...
What is the power? If you have power, you should use it whenever possible. I've decided to.
So we have Rod here, who is, of course, the general manager of the Diablo
Universe.
Universe.
Yeah.
Who universe?
All things Diablo.
Can't use the word franchise.
Pierre's not here now.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
And of course, we have Chris Leal.
Lead UX designer on Immortal.
And Ryan Quinn.
Hi, I'm senior narrative designer on Immortal.
Слово жир по-английски вводишь и сразу там клан.
With some Diablo Immortal conversations. Also, I do want to mention we're using new fancy mics today.
Какой нахуй Diablo Immortal conversation, блять?
Right.
Rod calls them the Janet Jackson mic.
Miss Jackson, if you're nasty.
Jackson.
It's because I'm older.
Rod, but is not wearing one of them.
It doesn't take a genius to see the size of my head, and the ability to put that little wire around this size of noggin is impossible. So therefore, I've passed.
disappointing. But he does have a really good impression of Britney Spears.
I am not doing it now.
Oh.
I am not doing
Рис
it.
ебаный
Okay,
по-русски,
maybe we
говори,
get
блядь.
I'll knot my shirt later. It'll be good.
Maybe we can get it out of him during Q&A. Someone asked that question in Twitch chat. We'll make sure
Это
to bring
Дэнди с
that up
бородой,
during
кстати.
Q&A.
Great.
And there you go. You're just on the spot and you have to answer it. So
I think it's important that, like, last time you clarified what we were doing was the campfire, which is more of a casual, we're just kind of giving updates. You know, we just want to be able to talk to the community.
Yes.
This is more of a developer stream, so it's a bit more official.
Yes.
But one of the things we wanted to recognize too is that, like, as a family of games, there's lots of cool stuff happening within in Diablo, and so we want to take.
Статую сзади него, видите? Это мое ебало, когда я, блядь, проснулся, спал 2 часа, проснулся в 4 утра, а мне говорят Diablo Immortal, будем обсуждать. Добро пожаловать на канал, спасибо за подписку.
And so one of the things we're going to look at, one to do today was not just talk about, you know, we are definitely going to talk about Season 1 on Diablo 4. And for some reason, Adam has structured this to be as tantric as possible. We'll get there, trust us, but it's going to take a minute. So, but what we really want to look at as well is we want to talk about a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about what's the preseason before we go into Season 1.
Немножко о пресезоне, говорят, поговорим.
For today, because we actually have some news about today. Another tease, didn't mean that. And and then we want to talk a little bit about
Экзотик, давай потом, когда в игре будем.
Something pretty incredible
Завтра там.
in Diablo Immortal, which
Приветствую.
is in nearly a decade we're having our first new Diablo character class is being revealed, and we wanted to reveal it here on this stream. So, you know, one of the great things about Blizzard is the SFD team, story and franchise, and Blizzard Video, and everything that they do around cinematics. And we thought, how could we introduce a new character class without having a kick-ass video to go with it? So, without further ado, may we present to you the new Diablo character class coming to Diablo Immortal.
New Diablo
very
Character Class. Diablo Immortal, заебись, погнали. Ага. Это я, кстати. Где FPS? Ну ладно, 30 FPS. Ага. Какое же оно уебанское. Да, на Данте очень похож, я сразу хотел сказать. Но это, к сожалению, Эдвард из «Сумерек», если что, 1 к 1. Белла. Кто в Diablo Immortal играет, вышли со стрима нахуй. Что?
July 13th.
July 13th.
A little over a week away.
Когда первый сезон начнется, никто не знает.
Sounds like there might have been some encoding issues.
Exactly. Yeah, I know that some people are talking about there's a little bit of hitching on it and so forth. I will say that we actually do have that trailer that will be on a blog on DiabloImmortal.com immediately after the stream, so people can actually check it out. It will be on YouTube, along with all the details that we're about to talk about.
После стрима, говорят, можно будет пересмотреть трейлер.
But obviously, first new class to the Diablo universe in nearly 10 years. I think there's a lot of questions in regards to.
Первый новый класс в Diablo за 10 лет. Blood Knight. Рыцарь крови. Спасибо большое, котяра. Спасибо. Ебать, он гном нахуй. Это смирняга с бородой, блядь. Кто это?
And it's great to kind of indulge in that nostalgia. It's great to get that dopamine hit of playing a classic, but after 6 classes, it left us with the opportunity to do something that felt really new and different. To do a
Говорит, класс очень сильно отличается от всех остальных, по-настоящему новый. Говорит, некромансер и Демон Хантер, у него вот так вот сосут члены, яйца вот так вот придерживают, если что, у этого класса.
Vampiric in some sort of way, or like how does this fit in with the actual lore within Diablo?
Right. So the fine details are Blood Knights and
Привет,
vampires
слушаем.
are intertwined.
Про Blood Knight, блядь.
On Sanctuary, vampires are kind of like living plagues. They
Вот этот немощь ебаный рассказывает про Blood Knight. И из Diablo Immortal.
У меня 4 утра, нахуй ты гоблин, блядь. Мне через 3 часа ехать через 100 километров в больницу, блядь. Я спал 2 часа в сутки, нахуй. Чтоб ты мне про Diablo Immortal рассказал, блядь.
Who, through means of an ancient ritual, has that curse of thraldom arrested inside them, frozen essentially in place.
Он похож на уебище из Мордора, который кольцо приносит, блядь. Ля, женщина сасная. Но они одинаково на лицо выглядят, если чё. Менструальный рыцарь. Осуждаю. Такое ощущение, как будто его невидимые стены какие-то сдавили, он сидит. Blood Knight, что-то там. У него нос как идеальная водяная горка, нахуй. Блядь, где они взяли его? Вот все плохое в Диабло из-за него, по-любому, блядь. По-настоящему новый класс, все донатные шмотки X2 в цене. Трансформейшн.
That you saw in our cinematic character's right hand, the little thing on the chain.
Oh, the chain, yeah.
Yeah, that's basically their life.
Говорит, цепь имеет в другой руке, это базовая залупа, всем похуй.
It's got a memento within.
Е-е-е, говорит.
That they were kind of truly human.
Right.
And so every morning, noon and night, they're doing ablutions with this thing to
Бля, не отправляются смайлы.
continue to keep the
Почему шипчат не хочет их показывать, пиздец, блядь?
process. The ritual, it's hearsay.
Ты их только на твиче, получается, видишь в моем чате, да?
And for basically every Blood Knight, you know, it may fail at some point. All Blood Knights are doomed to one day succumb to their curse.
And they don't know if that's 1 day, 1 year, 1,000 years.
Грустно.
Centuries, right? They're very, very long-lived. What they
Ну,
do
блядь, у меня выбора
and
нет.
what they pledge on
У меня сейчас 4 утра, когда мне еще спать, блядь?
time they have left.
Мне приходится просыпаться на вот Diablo Immortal.
And ultimately for them, since that is
Срочный прогноз, что сделают, как думаешь, в Diablo 4?
their inner sense of balance.
Думаю, насрут и нарыгают, как обычно.
To make up for the evil that will rise.
75%, что полностью обосрутся, и 25%, что, возможно, будет какая-то надежда. Приветствую.
At the same time, they're very pretty.
И вдруг у тебя способности экстрасенсорные.
Look, they're so pretty.
If you were going to turn into
Да, я экстрасекс.
Because they're very like gorgeous here, and then they.
Я могу орально удовлетворить женщину или мужчину с расстояния 20 метров.
Like opposite
Well,
of what it
I
is.
mean, you mentioned the abomination. I think we saw the Blood Knight turn into this creature.
Понял? Ну, сука, смотри мне нахуй. Я вижу, твоя рука тянется к донату. Это я утром на толчке после кофе, если что.
Yeah, they're letting the curse off the leash just a little bit. It's going to grant them.
Какая лига в PoE первая была? Не было лиги сначала?
Yeah, but maybe there's a little.
Блять, самая первая.
Do I come back from this?
Экзайлы вроде.
Awesome. Well,
Либо
I know with
точно
Blood
не
Knight,
отряды.
Obviously, like it's new
Бля,
class,
сейчас бы
how does it
вспомнить.
fit
Либо
Christian
первая
Diablo
Немезида, наверное.
like a gameplay style, like what
Рарники, когда... Бля, я не помню. Что-то из этого.
As a person that's actually jumping into Diablo.
Yeah, so the Blood Knight
В
is
жопу близок, что там пороги.
class, meaning there's tons of up-close combat with polearms. However, they have a host of
Хуй его знает.
blood abilities they can use manipulate the
Чё-то
battlefield
тут
better.
пороги.
I think the
Чё-то пороги.
drawback
Трейлер
of
роги,
Fortnite
если
might
чё.
be that players
Трейлер
that start
роги.
playing it
Все
might feel
хорош.
that their mobility is limited. However,
И
they
все
have
такие,
tons of
ва, как на
legendary
Близконе,
essences
нахуй,
to
когда
help
увидели
them
Сильвану, когда она орёт за Орду, блядь.
ability to close the gap on enemies, as well as life-stealing abilities to help them sustain themselves in lengthy combat sequences.
Got it.
Я
So,
проебал
like,
все, что
in
Чимча
combat
говорит.
more often, close combat, so they're essentially taking more damage, but then they have
Все еще
abilities
Diablo
themselves
Immortal,
to
да?
actually essentially drain, as we can see, kind of like away
Блять.
from others, essentially replenish their life while they're in combat.
The kebab attack, as I like to
Diablo
call it.
Immortal выглядит хуже, чем игры 2008 года на телефон. Пиздец,
What's
блядь.
happening there? We saw it in the trailer. We see it here as well. Is where basically able to stab an enemy, smash it around like as if on the end of a hammer. So that's you're like Chris is like, yeah, that's basically it. You defined it.
Я в пое в сущности появились, только начал играть, а потом до Легиона у меня компания была грустно. Я не помню хронологический порядок выхождения первых лиг. Там были Бьонды, Экзайлы, Немезиды, вот эти вот рарники обычные. Отряды были, вот это что-то все из того времени. Ну вот, да, анархия. Иное покорение. Блять, на русском названии я, конечно, не знаю. Ну да.
Their primary attack skills and so forth. Like, what kind of two different ultimates can we expect with the Blood Knight?
Yeah, I could talk a bit about.
Ну, до этого мы играли на стандарте с 11-го года, где-то с 12-го. Это Immortal, это все нас не касается пока что.
Dual wielding pole arms. That's I like.
And the other primary attack they have is called Shadow's Edge. It's quite a unique.
Да похуй, будем сидеть ждать, общаться, что еще делать. Муравью хуй приделать, погоду пока чек. Но если кто со Влада, дожди будут, там нет.
For enemies that are further away, they'll actually throw the dagger forward, and there are legendary essences that, you know, add damage over time.
Открываю браузер в телефоне, чтобы посмотреть погоду, и первое, что там вижу, ну, достойно, достойно. Достоинство. Чисто сразу, сколько варить пельмени, нахуй.
If the daggers are ricocheting and you mentioned piercing and so forth with the ultimate and everything, you can essentially clear out whole rooms with that. So
Владивосток, 20 градусов весь день, нахуй. 20-23. Рот ебал.
Legendary essences and everything that are associated to kind of modify skills. I know, and we're even seeing here, this is like the abomination.
Я рот ебал вообще. Я к вам приехал, у вас также все говорят плюс 39. В прошлый раз приехал и под ливнем шел до ебаного гамарника, блядь. Какой онлайн у Immortal? Отрицательный. Игра рождает новых людей, которые никогда не будут играть в Immortal. Все законы математики нарушает.
Specific skills, a blood rush where the Blood Knight actually dashes forward in a ball of blood, and then there's a 3-hit combo attack where
Николай скинул свой член и говорит: дядька, выскажи мнение.
Nice, that's awesome to see. I think with this update that's coming out on the 13th and the Blood Knight.
В душе не ебу. Насчет этих перчаток на Lucky Hit Chance я видел, что некоторые их носят, но я не знаю, куда их применять. Они часто падают. Забей, просто положи вклад. Кстати, один я обращаю внимание, когда перс, левша, не очень как-то удобно играть. Дед в пое и не D4. Да хер его знает, похер. Я не замечал, как развидеть теперь. Ну, некромант D4 он же кидает вот этой рукой, блядь, правой ебать. Кости. Ебать, говорит, правша-левша классы в игре, ага. Хуевша. Там амбидекстеры все. Они обоими руками дрочить могут. А где-то было расписание, типа, сколько они о чем пиздеть будут?
You can play the Blood Knight right out of the gate
Подскажи, пожалуйста, качнул челку качнул, говорит, по твоему гайду до 65 уровня, открыл Т4, хз, что дальше делать? Качаться, выбивать новые аспекты, новые вещи, усиливаться. Такие вот дела. Дмитрий, удачи. Приветствую. Много пропустил? Да, пропустил выход нового класса в Diablo Immortal, мы тут все охуели. Просто все охуели. Этого. Из сумерек добавили этого мальчика. Эдварда Каллина. Он подходит к мобам и вот так говорит: «Белла!» И все, это все, что он делает. Шо? Мобы пока жесткие, как понял, загириться надо. Да, по ивентам побегать. По ивентам побегать в open world, по оранжевым кружкам этим.
There will be a special Crimson Plane event where there'll be.
So for the, I mean, I think a lot maybe don't know what Fractured Plane. So maybe just what's the 5-second version of what is Fractured Plane?
So Fractured Plane is basically a roguelite inside of Immortal where you're able to try out all of the skills and abilities and build towards a 15 levels of defeating enemies just to try out different skills.
You basically start with a fresh class, and so you're taking your character. Like I have a very specific build with very.
Ой, блядь, да уволь ты нахуй всех, кто связан с Diablo Immortal. Что, блядь, происходит, блядь? Чисто собрание во Властелине колец, блядь. Вот это вот, блядь, это. Подруга Гимли сидит, блядь. Чимча какая-то, блядь, из Фростморна, вот это вот, откуда все урки ползут, блядь.
Without actually committing to changing to the class. So just try it out, see if you like it, and if you do, there's always class change available.
Nice.
Nice, that's awesome to hear.
Ты же моя тайская развратная мразь, блядь. О, как вам кастомизация? Ребят, Diablo Immortal качаем.
But I know we have like a new legendary gem that's going to be coming in this actual update as well. And then we even have just other like, you know, like items associated with this specific patch that'll be hitting as well.
Full set of legendaries for the
exactly.
Blood Knight too.
Yeah, and we're actually going to be listing out every single
Николай. Продолжает мне члены присылать. Ты же мой сладкий. Я не понял, Драйберг, блядь. Зойдберг. Ты чё, в Diablo Immortal играл? Несите раскаленный дилда.
Why are you, for people who didn't see in full frame rate, you're basically rubbing their nose.
Тогда тебя волновать не должно особо.
Go watch it again, please.
See it in the Blizzard Cinematics team, amazing team. That cinematic is great. Nothing like seeing blood splattered all over some stained glass. It's Diablo, so it makes perfect sense. It's great.
Есть у него какой-то данжен-мастер в голосе, да? Ну, чуть-чуть совсем. Не, вас... Ничего они там лить не начнут, не переживай. Я за Дэнди переживаю, ебать у него борода нахуй. Он в доту вернется вообще, нет? Потом будут писать с выходом нового класса Immortal был самый большой онлайн. Какие мы красавцы. Ага. Ебать, рот Фергюсон, это кто это? Вот этот, который, блядь, Кроули, что ли? Это он?
Hearing the fact that you fully recorded all VO for the Blood Knight for the campaign, I think it'll be exciting to go back and start over.
Yeah, it's about 2,000 lines in total. We've got a pair of really awesome voice actors, Abby Trott and Ben Prendergast.
Вам слышно хоть?
It's just pure haughtiness and bloodlust action all the way through. They've got some interesting takes on. I was going to say the name of the villain, our Act 3 villain in Darkwood. Some interesting perspectives there. But yeah, I don't think there's ever really been a better time.
Они заебали эту картинку уже форсить.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys very much and congratulations.
Thanks so much, Rod.
одноручное копье, блядь, и кулон на цепи. И будут ходить эти, блядь, по аптекам, проверять, блядь, кулоном мазь, нахуй. Православная или нет. Да, если будет полезное, постараюсь. Я не ебу, я английский не знаю. Вот, на туре 17+, если что. Это означает, что, ну, у кого член 17 или больше, то тому можно смотреть, а другим выключить. Ну, естественно, моим подписчикам всем можно. Это мы видели. Этот мы синематик видели. Неужто они нам дадут посмотреть заново синематик? Зачем? Да за шо? Инарий. Осуждаю. Ля, какой властный, блядь, мужчина. Флешечку закинул. Флешечку захуярил. На длину закинул флешечку. Приветствую. Крыса ебаная чисто. Говорит по завету Папича, крестьянин с копьем захуярит любого опытного воина. Ты ж моя прелесть, блядь. Я бы дал ей одрочить себе крыльями. Уф, блядь. Что? О, это я. Ля, какой красавец, блядь. Черти в ахуе. I have returned to hell. Ля, Инария добавят новый класс. Да, хоть мультик посмотрели.
And we're back.
What happened to the awkward hello? You're supposed to go, hello.
That's going to be my intro
I'm
for
technically
everything.
not back.
Wait.
Well, you are technically back. I mean, you were in other streams and other times.
Correct.
I'm not back. I'm new.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Tim is new. Tim also has the best voice in the world.
Yeah. Wow.
So Tim is just gonna
Best
talk about
voice in the world.
I didn't prepare for that at all.
Право вот этого вот Адама точно не будут в сраку. Все трое. А куда Дэнди делся? Дэнди раскачался нахуй, пока это... Мы мувик смотрели, ля как повеличал, блядь, и бороду чуть подрезал.
Specifically focused on seasons. I say that because if you ask me questions outside of the season's context, I have no idea what's going on.
And you said plural.
He said
Wait,
plural.
there's more than one season.
I'm trying to build more than one season.
There is more than one season. That's going to be, we're revealing that.
Or that's job security right there.
I'm actually just asking for it.
Wait, we're supposed to be thinking about job security? Damn it.
And we have a familiar face.
Joey P.
Yes, I'm Joe Papora. I'm the Associate Game Director for the live service. And I'm excited to talk about Season 1 today, at last.
But first.
But first.
Oh, but first. That's right.
Говорим о сезоне, но сначала...
You can never start talking about seasons until we talk about something else first.
Бородатый ноет, говорит, блядь, да когда же начнут говорить о сезоне, долбоебы?
Obviously, it's been a little over a month since Diablo 4 has launched.
It's only been a month.
Is it? Well, if you include
No, but you're right. It is.
Yeah.
Like, I always, the amount of feedback we get about, like, hey, this thing, and you're like, it's been like 5 weeks. Like,
Exactly.
give us a second.
Exactly.
So-
It has been
Give me a second,
a
говорит.
month, a little bit more than a month.
Я б тебе,
since
блядь,
Diablo
дал.
4 has
Wait,
actually
how did you
launched.
guys get a season done in 4 weeks? That's incredible.
We started it well before the game launched.
that's smart.
We actually released it.
We're extremely good at our job.
Wait, so you
I don't want to get in
started
the weeds,
before the
everybody.
game
I don't
launched?
want to get in the weeds, everybody, but like we did.
Да,
start-
все четвером сразу одновременно разговариваете, конечно.
Like zombies are really easy to make, and so therefore it was.
Yeah,
oh my
obviously,
god.
that's what it is. Okay.
Also, people are saying that your mic is low, Mr. Joey P.
My
no.
mic
Yeah,
is low.
so I don't
Okay.
know if
Yes, so-
I promise. Live broadcast, everyone.
I
Live
can
broadcast.
project everybody.
Yeah,
That's
he
what's
can-
gonna take.
He can start screaming.
Just scream at everybody.
And you
Да
haven't seen
пиздец.
Joey P
Interrupted. So
scream.
you,
Sorry.
you're talking
Sorry,
about the
sorry.
5 week. I was just shocked by the 5 week thing, but anyway. So yes, it's been 5 weeks.
Осуждаю тебя, кстати, блядь. Ты что такое пишешь?
Numerous updates to the game, hotfixes, patches. We actually had a campfire chat in between, where we talked about even a big update that was coming before season 1.
13-page.
Сначала поговорят о большом обновлении, которое будет до сезона.
14.5, double spaced, and I'm like, maybe it was, but it still was very big. It was like 11 pages on the actual site. But we've addressed a lot of feedback and everything related to the game. We still have more feedback.
Большинство, что я слышу, это
patch, climb patch, surprise, spoilers, or announcement. We will have patch 104. That's going to be hitting all platforms later this afternoon. There will be patch notes posted this afternoon. Very much not as
Afternoon будет patch
as
notes.
103, but it does address additional feedback and issues that people have been reporting over to us in the
got
actual
one?
patch notes.
Come on, put you on the spot.
Funny enough, I actually have this printed out?
I don't think you
А
can
тут
say
можно
that
сабы?
1.04 is coming this afternoon and not give an example of something we're fixing in 104.
Тут же
I know
нельзя.
that they are actually,
Их еще не
doing a
существует.
gameplay fix in regards to, or a gameplay adjustment to Helltide chests, so that Helltide chests will now actually drop unique items.
Yeah, have the chance to
Хелтай
drop
чисты
you guys.
теперь будут дропать уникальные предметы.
Not like a guarantee.
relax,
Now that's quoted, and I'm
В
just
адском натиске теперь можно уники вытаскивать с сундуков.
Okay, that sounds stupid for me as the GM to go like, I didn't even.
Мы
I
об этом
thought they
говорили
already
уже,
could
я это
drop
предиктил.
uniques with Helltide chests, so I was mistaken there.
Yeah. It's so there are some content types that the rewards are not dropping like unique items from it. So like like Whisper bounty caches, for example, don't have a chance to drop unique items when you turn in for those.
Didn't know that either.
Yeah, but I think that there's opportunities for us to continue to like try to expose this more as we talk about these things moving forward. But yeah, this is an opportunity now. We want to make sure that when players are trying to target farm for certain kinds of uniques for their builds they need to grab in order to bring those things online, that those Whisper caches really can be used as a way to or not Whisper caches, the tortured gifts you can get from the
Из дерева вроде тоже теперь.
events. Those are really
У
good
него,
opportunities to go and try to
у него
go for those.
пиздец акцент какой-то ебаный, техасский.
Once 104 goes out, once your uniques can drop in.
That's
Helltide
right.
chests.
That's right. That's this afternoon.
Yep. And
Теперь
I will
сундуков
say, like, we've been
уникалки,
getting,
короче, можно из
like
событий разных.
mentioned, I think many times already in this stream, we have been getting a lot of feedback related to bugs, issues, or even just like general gameplay feedback. And it's something that the team has been reading through and getting through. And those are things that, obviously we're addressing as we get through all these different updates in the future and everything.
We're building a big backlog. Like this is the thing I was making the joke about. They started before, like seasons started before we launched, just to try to set expectations. Like we're moving as fast as we can, but we have to move also safely because if we move too fast, we can kind of vibrate the game.
Да, блядь,
out of
вы спамите, мне
stability. And so
приходится
we're trying to
читать
be
нахуй
as
чаты, я
reactive as we
проебываю вообще
can,
все, что они говорят.
but in a
Сундуков
safe way,
уники теперь
and knowing
будут.
we have a large backlog of season 1 was already well in flight, and
Да,
season 2 is
пиздец.
also very much well in flight. And
Один
we're trying to
говорит,
make
мы
those
очень хорошо
adjustments. So we
поработали,
hear the
второй такой.
feedback, so please don't take the lack of instantaneous response as in we don't hear you. We hear you. We hear about, I want to lock my inventory. We hear you about all the different types of things that you're giving us feedback on, and we appreciate that feedback, and we're doing our best to address it as quickly and as safely as possible. So, so just trying to manage expectations that sometimes it might feel, but again, it's only been 5 weeks. This is a game that we are going to, we're going to support for years to come. This is a foundation of, we said the launch was the beginning, not the end. And so we're going to be continuing to support this game through many seasons and through expansions and what have you. And so please just allow us some time to catch up.
Большую часть
and work
разговора
through our
они просто
backlog
нюхают
to
свой
get to those
пердеж.
items that we know that you care about.
And I do want to note that we're,
Говорят,
you know,
какие
as
мы
we were
классные,
in
какая работа была
preseason, we
проделана.
were obviously shooting out a lot of updates really quickly, and this is something we talked about a little bit on the campfire chat, but we are going to get into a more systematic way of being able to update the game, so it's not just going to be like ad hoc, hey, guess what, a new client patch type of thing, unless there's an emergency. But yeah, people start to find a more some familiarity with how we actually update the game around seasons and client patches that may occur, whether they are in between or only on seasons and so forth. So we'll have that actually communicated out, and people then know what to expect going forward when we do have different updates or different patches that actually do
Yeah,
hit the game.
I think it's really important that we have now talked about things we did in the preseason. We've made a number of changes on the balance side. We've responded to a lot of player feedback. We've got 1.04 coming out later on this afternoon. But Adam, what do the people want to hear about?
Zombie! Talk about season 1.
Зомби, говорит, добавят.
But we do want to talk about season 1. Season 1 is coming, and
Первый
we
сезон
actually
идет.
have a really cool trailer to show off.
И мы
before,
имеем очень крутой трейлер,
we jump
говорит.
into it. So, hit it,
Смотрим.
Rich and Matt.
Смотрим трейлер первого сезона. Очень крутой, говорят, трейлер.
I am writing to you because although a great evil is receding from Sanctuary, a new festering curse now spreads its corruption across the land. More dangerous, more malignant than I could have imagined. I
О,
found
а
a
тут
way to
оборотни
stop
добавили.
this plague, to rip the dark power of these monsters from their very core and turn it to our advantage in destroying them.
Зараженные мобы будут. Карапт собирать
I
придется.
cannot do this alone. My allies have fallen. My strength is dwindling. The malignant are relentless and without mercy. I need help. I need you.
Season of the Malignant, блять. Иси. Короче, какие-то карапченные мобы будут с тентаклями, блять, просто зараженные. Вы будете их убивать и тентакли
There we
собирать.
have it. The first season of Diablo 4 coming out on July 20th. The season of the Malignant. Lots to talk about there. Lots to talk about there. So we're actually going to jump into it. No, I'm just kidding. But obviously, a lot of people want to know what's going on. You know, we even teased it on social media yesterday, where something was corrupting Sanctuary. I guess Tim, Joe, like
Yeah, no, okay,
explain
so
to us what's going on now.
So season 1, the season of the Malignant. So our very, very first season in the game is going to basically take place after the events of Diablo 4. So after the redacted and the redacted have happened and the player has finished redacting the redacted, once all that's out of the way, that's when things are really going to kick off in the world of Sanctuary, kind of step off from that point. And there is a new threat that's basically emerged in Sanctuary. There's this malignance, there's this corruption that's begun to spread throughout like the hearts of the creatures throughout the world. And that's everything from like beasts to
Все монстры зараженные в мире. Везде зараза, везде ковид у них там.
Corrupted by this malignance that's beginning to take root and fester inside inside people. And it's basically kind of like it's changing them. Right, it's turning into these bloodthirsty fiends. Effectively,
Изменятся все мобы под ковидом.
It's threatening Sanctuary at a very, very, very high level. The player's going to come across a new character that they're going to introduce to over the course of the season, named Cormand, who we actually saw in the trailer there.
Новый персонаж.
There he is. Cormand is an member of the Cathedral of Light. He used to be a priest of the Cathedral of Light.
Priest.
And he's taken it upon himself to start trying to dive deeper into this new malignant threat that's risen over the course of these days following the events of Diablo 4's main campaign. But he's finding himself maybe a little out of his depth. Would you say, Tim? Like, what do you think about Cormand?
Yeah, he's trying to raise the problem on his own, and then I think when he's not 100% successful, he comes to the player and says, "Hey, you were really helpful in the past.
Ебать, он обдышался, долбоёб, блядь, уж ёбаный.
Yeah, he's very. I think that you'll find like he's a person. Everything in the room is on fire, but he's sitting there like, I can fix it. You know, we can find a way to solve this, right? But he's a great new character that the player get introduced over the course of the season. But that's really just where things kick off. Now, and players will start the season of Malignant actually in Kyovashad, and they're going to gain access to like the beginning of the story of the season pretty much right away. You know, so you're able to start off right at level 1, like jumping out of the gate and be able to start like following the thread of this new season storyline.
С первого левела новую будет сюжетку идти сразу. Можно будет новую часть сюжетку идти сразу с первого левела.
Yeah. Well, then I know people are really curious about what happens to my current character, how do I think about that transition, but we'll get to that after we get
Пристав типа пристав, блядь. Ты налоги не платишь, пиздате.
So that's like the high level, like what's happening in the world of Sanctuary.
Theme, right? So we have a seasonal theme with a seasonal story, but like what about the mechanic? On top of the theme, there's usually the seasonal mechanics. So what's the mechanics that we're looking at?
We're trying to add more stuff to seasons that appeal to everything that a player does in Diablo 4. So we are adding story, the elements of what you're going to find out about what is actually happening to Sanctuary, but then we want things that are new challenges for the player, things that you can fight that maybe you haven't fought before, as well as new powers, things that you can build your character in a different way, a different direction than maybe you did in any previous season, or in this case in the pre-season when you had just the Eternal Realm. So,
говорит, новая сюжетка, новые испытания, новые какие-то апдейты для персонажа, варианты усиления его, новая механика.
Anytime you encounter any elite monster, there's a chance that it will spawn as a malignant version of that monster. So that malignant
Каждый элитный монстр может заспавниться сильнее.
A heart will actually appear, the exposed
С него выпадет жижа.
was causing this. If you then interact with that heart by using a cage of binding, it now starts a ritual where it's pulling all the malignants in and a new, even more powerful version of that.
Ее заряжаешь, вылезет новая версия монстра еще сильнее.
If you can manage to beat that even more powerful version where you see these other minions are now helping it, these other malignant creatures, now it drops the caged heart.
И после этого упадет сердце.
Into this cage that is an item that you can use that is kind of like a gem. It's like a gem.
Его можно использовать как гем в предмет.
It is very much not like a gem in the sense that it has an enormous amount of power. Think of a legendary item, the kind of power that's in there. It's like that, maybe even a little bit.
По сути, вы будете новые фармить гемы, которые будут по-разному менять персонажа.
And that gives you these kind of stupid new broken builds that are hopefully balanced.
Будет давать, говорит, конченые новые билды сломанные. Безумно сломанные, ебаные.
Really cool, right? So one of the things we really want to do with each season, to Tim's point, is we want to make sure that we're providing new ways for players to engage with Diablo 4, new problems for them to solve, new ways for them to customize their characters and kind of do new cool stuff.
Right.
And that's what Malignant Hearts and the powers associated with Malignant Hearts really allow us to do.
Это уже было в Sims.
So yes, you can take a malignant heart you managed to collect from one of the consumed that you managed to kill, one of these super malignant creatures that you've killed this way, and you can socket them into your gear. We have 32 new. I'm not gonna say like over 30. We have 32 new malignant powers.
Вот они.
Technically, it's 32. So we have 32 new malignant powers are going out this way. These are new legendary power-like abilities. You can see this one here: critical strikes, electrically charged.
Ебать, их много можно вставлять.
For a set amount of damage. So these like there's a lot of really powerful things like this that you'd be able to kind of like interact with.
Я уже вижу ебанутых фликеров.
Each of the malignant hearts you're collecting are actually like a category. They're associated with a color. So if like brutal hearts, for example, or like have a blue color to them, and they'll only go in infested sockets you'll find on rings and jewelry during the season of the malignant of a matching color. I see. So when you're hunting for like when you're
цвета сакетов что-то там будет.
Or gambling at the like the opals vendor, whatever it is you want to do, you're kind of looking for specific socket colors.
Or if you're getting a
Нужно будет искать цвета сакетов особые.
That's right. If you happen to luck out and get Mother's Embrace because you need another Mother's Embrace, then like, yes, you can absolutely.
One will never do. But what's interesting, like with so there's 3 different types of color sockets, yes?
There's 3 different types of color
3
sockets.
цвета сакетов.
4 different types of malignant hearts.
Yes. Go on.
Well, okay, I guess I will. So the last malignant heart type is called like basically a raffle. It's like extremely powerful.
Красный самый сильный, говорит.
Very, very rare to find. They will fit in any colored socket as you go. And you kind of want a combination of all of these. So even though
В любой цвет сакета можно вставлять, или что-то говорит там.
Probably have like 1 or 2 of these based on what you might actually need for your build, over the course of time. So it's fun, like really want to be able to experiment.
Первая
Again,
лига в Diablo —
creating
это
these
базовая
different options
механика
for
из
players to
поя.
solve different ways for players to engage with things and really change up that experience by virtue of adding these new powers. They're gonna unlock
Особые
different builds
сокеты?
potentially for classes at
Реально?
this point, and just basically be like a really fun, exciting new way for players to kind of inject new power into the experience.
But you're looking for the, so can the jeweler, when the jeweler right now can add a socket to, you know, a piece of jewelry.
Блять, пожилой делает вид, как
Are
будто
they
он
all
нихуя не
colored
втыкает, что
sockets, or are those
происходит.
only
You can't
found?
choose the color, but anytime a ring would roll with a
Цвета
socket,
можно менять.
When the season of Malignant starts,
Сокетов.
it's always going to have a color associated with it. There's not like, you couldn't get like just a regular jewel socket
But
anymore.
even a jeweler created one? Like if I have a ring with no socket, when I do the jeweler, it'll be colored?
It'll always be colored. Yeah,
so
it'll
you
always
do
be an
the jeweler,
infested socket in this way.
Got it.
Yeah.
But that's true for unique. So if I'm looking for a unique, I have a unique ring, like you talked about, but I want the blue version. I could find a unique with the red socket, and I could find it with a yellow socket. So I'm looking for a blue.
В
So
униках
you have
разные
multiple
сокеты
versions of
статичные
uniques
будут.
as well, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, fun new stuff to look forward to. And that's
Уники
just, I mean,
будут
that's-
супер
We
невыгодными.
showed in the video earlier, like the player fighting a malignant creature. You know, there's a chance for, as Tim pointed out, like there's a chance for all kinds of elites out there in the world to be malignant in nature,
Right.
which makes them a little bit more powerful. But then when you kill them and you go and you actually use the Cage of Binding to capture their heart, then you fight that super consume the consume version. It's like that's gonna be like buffing nearby monsters. It spawns a bigger like combat in that scene. There's more to look forward to, and those get tougher and tougher. And you want to fight higher and higher level versions of those in higher world tiers to get even better versions of those hearts.
Yeah, so you can get stronger versions of the hearts as you get further into the game, and you might be thinking like, okay,
Разные грейды сердец этих будут. Суть в чем, они говорят, мы не можем пофиксить резисты, чтобы вы вставляли не черепа ебаные в бижу. Поэтому мы добавим вам лик-механику с новыми штуками, которые вы будете вставлять в бижу, блядь. Это лига извинения за невозможность пофиксить резисты. Да, в униках нельзя.
By the way, that's also the name of my colonoscopy.
Блять, он накуренный.
There we go. And
It's a serious thing when you're over 50.
Осуждаю.
and this is when
That is a
we
good point.
mute
So if
my-
you have a malignant tunnel, you should get yourself checked out.
So in the world of Sanctuary, when we say Malignant Tunnel, we mean, hey, I'm a player and I actually want to get more of these hearts, but it's just a random chance on elites out in the world. Where can I intentionally find more of them? There are these Malignant Tunnels. So there are actually places across the world where the malignance is manifesting in these new dungeons. So if you specifically want to go find more Malignant hearts, you can hunt down these tunnels.
Yep.
You can go in and, hey, there are more Malignant there. So there's a higher chance of finding Malignant monsters there. And if you want to guarantee it, man, I really need
Блять, его не слышно из-за звука игры, блять.
How do I make that even more likely?
И хоры падают, если что.
You go all the way to the end of a malignant tunnel, and you can use it on a malignant outgrowth. When you use it on that outgrowth, it now spawns that.
Я не слышу из-за звука игры его голоса, блять.
Color associated with it of the heart you're trying to find. You kill that, and you're going to get the specific heart. So there's a little bit more targeted farming you can do as you approach the end game of season 1.
Actually, I have like, if go to the C video, it will be able to show you the going into an evoker event where you can go in and sort of.
Инвокер ивент говорит.
The turkey baster from hell, basically, is what an evoker looks like.
Спавнится вот жижа. Скверно.
Yeah, that's where we ended up.
So yeah, at the end of these malignant tunnels, you're going to find that there are these masses of malignants that you're going to be able to go and interact with, and each of the
That's the
tunnels
one we
has
wanna watch.
a few different ones that can potentially spawn different colors of malignant.
Там разные сердца, можно цвета
It
выбирать.
gives you those opportunities to go and like really target farm, as Tim's pointed out, like certain kinds of malignant hearts as the player is progressing through the experience. Yeah.
So when we show, like we were just showing it, you went.
technical
show the one
Старый
you were
выпрашивает, мы можем это показать? Ну, по дяде.
So basically,
Пусть
there's a
посмотрят.
growth. You get to the end of the tunnel, there's a.
Как
you're
фармиться.
able to basically.
Выбирайте
essentially
цвет,
request
спавните
your monster of
дурика.
a particular color. Yes, you're saying like I want a blue heart, a chance to get a blue heart by trying to defeat the blue monster. Yes.
That's right, and some of these are like, particularly later on in the experience, like the most powerful hearts you can get are going to be delivered from things like these invokers.
Чел говорит, черная борода, как будто первый раз все это слышит.
Something we're very excited
So
about.
basically,
Он сам нихуя не
invoker
понимает, что
on
говорят.
the one of the pods.
That's right, yeah, the outgrowths from this malignant mass.
Which then creates a blue monster for you to fight. You have to take that down, which will then. So does this one go through the same mechanic where I have to kill it, try to capture heart to kill
Yeah,
the harder thing?
When this thing pops up, after you kill this one, you don't actually have to capture it. You're fighting the powerful version of it like immediately.
That's what I was asking. Yeah, so you don't have to do the 1-2.
That's right.
Got it. So that's nice. So it's kind of a little like the sigil crafting, where you basically, I've got a bunch of stuff I'm not using right now. I can craft it down so that I can focus what malignant hearts I want. Because maybe my build, I know I want a brutal heart, but I haven't running into any blue malignants out there in the world. So now I can go into a malignant tunnel, fight my way to the end, have an opportunity to use the invoker to create a blue malignant to go after its heart. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Rogers called it out.
And I know.
Повторили то, что показали, да, заебись горит.
That's good.
He's like, I will take everything you said, summarize it into 2 sentences. And I know, like, obviously with the story and so forth, there are like new, like a new boss and so forth.
Новый босс.
But we're not really talking about the boss too much today,
Redacted, but yes.
It's worth calling out,
There's new boss monster for players to fight over the course of the season. There are new legendary items for players to collect this season.
Correct.
Новые легендарные итемы.
Or legendary powers, I should say, for players to collect. There's new unique items for players to collect.
Новые уники.
Unique legendaries and
Аспекты, новые уники.
Uniques.
Уникальный. Ага.
Those are not just in the seasonal realm, though, right? Are those things that are also showing up in the
Он похож на деда вот с этого мема, который вот так вот смотрит.
There's now a few new items for you to go try to hunt for and use to kind of augment and change your build.
This is the moment where I can do the producer thing.
Yeah.
So you probably saw it before on the screen when we looked at the cinematic. It was awesome. And we
Да
said,
дайте
July
воды
20th,
этому долбоебу.
there it is, the day it's coming out. We are actually putting out the
У него
patch
микрофон
a
аж
little
пожелтел,
bit
блядь.
earlier. So just for awareness, so everyone knows, you're gonna see your game patching.
Микро выглядит, как будто он из ушной серы скатал поебень какую-то, типа микрофона. Что?
It's going to turn on July 20th.
Balance changes, the new items.
So July 18th is
Да, там чел за камерой стоит, который вот это вот аплодисменты, смех поднимает это.
As normal on your existing characters or a new Eternal character if you want. July 18th, the new legendaries and uniques that they were just talking about will be available to you on the Eternal Realm, as well as any other improvements, balance changes, rewards changes that we've made. Those will be there right away on July 18th. July 20th, the season turns on. You can now create seasonal characters.
I think it's like going back to managing expectations. I think one of the things we've been trying to be really clear about with seasons is that it is not a continuation of the main campaign storyline. Like we've been trying to use phrases like it's a new quest line. Working with Corman to solve the malignant is a big, is obviously the journey you're on, but it's not about the Anarius Lilith journey. It's not extending that story. It's sort of a side story inside the open world.
Yeah, it just takes place after the events of Diablo 4. But you're absolutely right. This is a new self-contained story within the season of the Malignant, which is great because it just gives us it affords us a lot of opportunities to tell an exciting story and to create like these new big features to kind of go along with that and support it.
So as I'm playing through that now, it would be amazing if there was some way to sort of track my accomplishments through the season. I don't know, maybe some sort of journey perhaps
You
would be really...
want to track your seasonal journey.
Они покрасили сакеты, блядь, в 3 разных цвета. Новые штуки придумали, которые туда вставлять гемы, блядь. И радуются нахуй, как будто, блядь, они в черную дыру, блядь, спустились. Как будто Марс колонизировали.
I guess it's worth maybe calling out and maybe a little bit more clarity.
Hey, look, it's this, but without redacted.
Компендос, кстати. Сеты компендоса.
No top secret.
Yeah, so this is the battle pass introducing as part of season 1, and then going into here you'll see the season journey. And again, so the season journey is separated into 7
Журнал
chapters,
сезона.
And like these major chapters, and each of those chapters has
Новые
a
аспекты, вот награды за сезон будут.
Each of them in order to allow you to progress that chapter.
And you don't have to do all of them?
You don't have to do all of them. You have to do a subset of them in order to advance to the next chapter. So I think it's really cool. So like objective to objective, you're going to be earning favor drops.
Все донжоны закончить надо.
Which we'll talk about a little bit more in a minute. But you're also, for your chapter completion moments, you're getting big drops of that favor that's going to be used like an experience point value for your battle pass. But you're also going to be getting some like item rewards, and importantly, you're going to be unlocking new legendary aspects.
Ты можешь заунлочить новые легендарные аспекты для своих персонажей.
Many of our new legendary aspects we're adding in the season, if you're playing in the seasonal realm, you can collect that for your Codex of Power by going to the season journey. So it's a great way for you to introduce yourself to some of these new things as you're kind of playing through.
Yeah, I love this. Like one of the things that's hard about, for people who know Diablo 3 and its sort of journey.
Hold on, wait. Do you love this?
I love this.
Oh, that actually feels really good.
Конечно, он любит это.
The notion around, like, I like the fact that the subset aspect of it, because I know there are certain things. I'll pick a stupid example. It's like maybe I hate sellers for some reason. I'm a seller hater, and so I never want to complete a seller. Then the fact that I can advance chapter 1 to go to chapter 2 without ever doing what lurks below, I think that's great, because that's like I find you get into situations.
Говорит, если вы хейтите какой-то один из квестов, можете сделать другой в другом чаптере и поебать всем на вас.
I don't have to do that here, that I can choose a subset of things to continue my progress, I think is really smart.
Yeah, I think it's really good to hear. It's one of the things we really want to do is make sure that like the base example of this is like we really like letting players use our fields of hatred as opportunities to kind of like progress their characters inside of the season, but we don't, and we want to include that
Which is
in
the
season
PvP
journey,
fields,
which is the PvP content in the game. But we don't want to make that like a requirement that you must go do this content in order to progress your season journey. We want to give players the option to do this if they choose.
One thing I do want to call out here as well with the season journey, and I think you're going to call it out in some other places, is that it can be confusing to players initially that you go to this battle pass screen, you click on the
Кто ты нахуй? Это сантехник местный какой-то, блядь. Посадили его просто.
Everyone has access to the season journey. This is a base feature that everybody is engaging with. Actually, everybody has access to the battle pass.
Это пиздец забавно.
Even if you never pay a cent, you are engaging with the battle pass. You're getting free stuff.
А вы ругали лиги в пое, что они выходят не особо интересными. В натуре как будто, блядь, некого было посадить. Дэнди сломался, его в больницу отвезли, блядь. Чел какой-то в кулере воду менял. Ему сказали, посиди тут, блядь.
Towards the end of that path, so we're excited to see players like engage with it and for us to continue to support it in future seasons.
And so we saw that the season journey grants you a lot of favor to go towards your battle pass, but you also earn favor just out in the world killing.
Блять, по сравнению с этим, каждая лига в пое просто новая игра.
Whispers and dungeons and things like all of these things will be earning you favor as you kind of play through the season.
Right.
So anything that's gaining you experience points is your chance to get that favor as well.
So if you have never played the campaign yet, like you're about to buy the game for the first time with the season, for example,
right?
I'll be like, okay, I'm going to roll a seasonal character. I'm going to play the campaign. The fact that while I'm playing the campaign, I'm killing stuff, and I'm still earning favor. Like this stuff is still sort of progressing in the background, right? In
That's absolutely correct.
I just won't run into any malignant until I finish the campaign.
That's absolutely right. But you will, as you play, if you make a new character, to your point, Rod, on the seasonal realm, and you're playing through the campaign, you will be earning favor as you're killing monsters and doing things during the campaign. But a lot of those, and you can also progress your.
Говорит, если основную сюжетку не прошел, нельзя начинать кампанию сезонную. Ну, проходить.
Until after you finish the events of the Diablo 4 main campaign.
And that's probably one of the big things to be clear about. I know we're going to talk about the transition later, but in terms of getting access to the mechanic, the idea of talking to Corman, capturing malignant hearts, having rings with colored socket or jewelry with colored sockets, that stuff all takes place post-campaign.
That's correct.
And so if you haven't beat the campaign yet, you're not going to run into these seasonal mechanics.
Yeah, you won't fight malignant creatures, for example, while you're going through the campaign on the seasonal realm, but you will shortly thereafter. So one of the things you can do, and I know we're going to talk about this, and we keep saying we're going to talk about this, and then we talk about it anyway. But like, so I would say, like, one of the things you can do to get ready for the season is to make sure you finish your campaign playthrough. Diablo 4, jump in. You can choose to skip campaign when you make your new seasonal character, and dive right into the seasonal story and content immediately.
And that's forevermore. That's one thing we tried to say.
Если ты купил Diablo в первый раз на сезоне, ты должен будешь сначала пройти сюжетку, прежде чем начать сюжетку сезонную, отдельную вот эту вот часть истории. Но контент вроде тебе весь доступен будет.
Not always, but yes.
Is that the only thing that we can be doing to prepare for season 1?
Да иди воду меня в кулере, долбоёб дышаный, блядь. Шутник хуя, блядь, нам тут пиздец всем весело. Мы все по 100 евро заплатили, нам пиздец весело, блядь.
Whether you've chosen to just have the free battle pass or whether you've chosen to upgrade it to a premium battle pass, correct?
That's absolutely correct.
So can we go back to the screen, because I think it's one of the things.
Ебать, этот чел бородатый на Саурона похож, пиздец просто, да?
Part of the thing is kind of, we use the term, why would I want to complete the battle pass? One of the reasons you would want to complete the battle pass is you could look like this.
Yeah.
And by completing the battle pass in terms of the mount armor, the armor that the characters are wearing. And so, did you want to talk a little bit about
I mean, so one of the things that's really cool about a lot of the items in the battle pass There are these really exciting like armors to chase for the characters. There are like fun new emotes to go chase for.
Они настолько неопытные, это просто пиздец. Как вам за 100 евро? Как вам?
The things are like a little bit lower fantasy that we can use to kind of like role play different kind of themes out for your characters, just give you more options.
Шлем достойный.
Like this is like the Awoken Cold Iron stuff is like some of like the like real chase armor cosmetics that exists at the end of the battle pass.
It's one of the things that like when
Конь сверху с изометрией будет выглядеть как обычный конь.
Tunic or the helmet is that one of the big things about the battle pass is that unlike the shop, the battle pass, all the cosmetics are class agnostic. So why we have a preview for all 5 classes, so you can see what it looks like on a barbarian, what it looks like on a druid, what it looks like on a necromancer, and those sorts of things. And that's one of the nice things about the battle pass is everything you're earning on the battle pass, class agnostic.
Yeah, for those transmogs.
The exception is the transmog weapons. There are transmog weapons on there that are class specific, just because classes can only use certain weapons.
Yeah.
So if your class can equip that weapon, then you have access to it. Just to reinforce, I think it was already expressed.
Говорит, раньше кулеры были попроще. Не надо было, это, говорит, бутылку переворачивать, а то пока переворачиваешь, вода везде разлетается. Пиздец, блядь. Это только в России показывают вот эту конкретную трансляцию, где челы просто угорают, хуйню несут какую-то.
That's what you're buying into. But the free version.
Keep going. I'm getting ready to transition.
Okay.
Говорит, может, про сезон поговорим, а ему такие, не, про кулеры интересно, продолжай. Говорит, вот так берешь бачок, вот так, и переворачиваешь, такой? Вот такой член у меня, говорит.
Of the battle pass, you have a character of a certain level in order to be able to actually use them. So you're kind of like, they're rate limited that way. We'll take those and you'll be able to use those and apply them to the seasonal blessings system. Right. And here, okay, we can actually finally reveal all of these. So here are the places where, as the players collecting these ashes, they can invest them here to give all of their characters on the seasonal realm kind of like this advantage able to carry through.
Сезонные благословения, буст по XP, ну сами тут видите. По материалам там эликсиры дольше длятся.
I can do it 4 times at 15%, so like 60% duration on elixirs.
12% вот буст XP можно получить.
That's right. Yeah, we want to make this just be an extra little fun little thing for players to chase as they're going through the season to kind of, help them like boost their characters up a little bit more quickly as they kind of get deeper and deeper into progression through the season and give them a few different advantages to play with while they're playing through.
So if I were to max out with my Smoldering Ashes, they're like Earn a Prolonging is where I want to invest my Smoldering Ashes. I can basically take my 30-minute elixir and make it almost a 50-minute elixir. So getting that 5% XP boost, maybe for me it's the extra 200 thorns. And
количество голды, конечно, за которое вендору продаешь, но больше получаешь. Это прикольная херня. Но 20%.
And these are available to everyone because who's in the seasonal realm because it's part of the free track.
Шанс на редкий материал. Когда ты разбираешь предмет, важная хуйня. Мне этого не хватает.
Free Smoldering Ashes, it doesn't actually unlock until you get to the level requirement.
Yeah, for example, like the first ash that you unlock in the battle pass is, I think it's tier 8 maybe.
Tier 8.
За 2 недели люди за 2 дня берут сотый левел в пачке.
To make it really, really clear, like you will be able to use this in time, but immediately, like you need to continue to progress the guy.
Так что, конечно.
Level up, and then you'll be able to use that accordingly.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so. I can kind of do my little summary thing. So basically, what we said, so we have a seasonal theme of the Malignant, which has the mechanic of capturing Malignant hearts and putting it into jewelry. We use that to complete our season's journey. Our season journey is rewarding us favor. Our favor, we're then putting into the battle pass to get really cool cosmetics and transmogs, but also based on our level and our tier in the battle pass,
он меня заебал. Они говорят 10 минут о чем-то, а потом он еще 2 минуты пересказывает все, о чем они говорят. Как будто для долбоебов конченых, типа, блядь. И те такие, да-да, именно так мы и сказали только что, блядь. Такие люди, значит, Diablo делают.
Kind of an increase in power for everybody, and then if you want to spend money, just reinforcing that, that's unlocking more cosmetics.
Cosmetics.
And don't get me wrong, like they're amazing cosmetics. I am planning to pay to unlock them myself. But there's no power that comes from them. They are transmogs. They are not actual items. It's just a transmog you can place on your armor to look cool. They don't actually cause things to light on fire.
Yeah, it's just reinforcing what we had talked about before, like even before launch and so forth, is that the
Блять,
battle pass
он
itself
так заебался людям пиздеть, у него аж вена вздулась на башке вот здесь. Приветствую.
If you bought the deluxe or the ultimate edition, this you already will have a ability to make that a premium battle pass. You know, it still doesn't. So.
Не, первые 2 недели пицца хорошая будет точно.
Talk a little bit about the transitional side of it. In terms of how I go into this or what happens. So there's a couple of different things. There's like, one is like there's a need. So there's a question. I guess we should talk about renown. Like one of the big things that we hear the most about is, hey, I spent a lot of time, and I know I did too. I completed all my renown objectives. I've got full everything. And now I hear, oh, I have to reroll my character in season. Do I have to go find all the altars of Lilith? Do I have to go all clear the fog of war again?
Yeah, so I know we've talked about this in stream before, but definitely bears repeating. So like when season 1 goes live, players are going to be able to go basically carry over like all of the fog of war that they've cleared. So everything, all the world they've explored on their characters in each of the zones, like in the Fractured Peaks and Scotsland and such, all of that's going to carry over, as well as all of the renown you have earned from all of that, all of the exploration.
So can we bring up the screen? So basically where we see areas discovered, let's say I've actually, okay, we'll say this is this person. So right now they've got 30 areas discovered, which is worth 150 renown.
Right.
So what's going to happen is in the season, I'm going to have 30 areas clear inside of Kyrgyzstan, and I will have 150 renown already in the bank. And it will have unlocked whatever 150 renown will have unlocked.
Absolutely right. Yep, absolutely right. So you're going to have that, and you're also going to have already collected all of your altars of Lilith that you've got from your
So the same thing here. So I will have 12 will be appearing on my map immediately, and I will have 120 renown in the bank with my other 100. So I'll have 270 renown already earned, waiting for me to claim when I fire up the season.
That's absolutely correct. So these are the advantages you get to start with, and like if you look at all of the renown you can collect from discovering all of the areas and from getting all of your altars of Lilith, is going to get you in each of the zones.
Либо привязаны к бесплатной его части.
Through the first 2 tiers, a little bit of the way through the 3rd tier for each of the zones for renown. So you get to start with, like if you start at level 1 on day 1 of the new season with a brand new character, you'll start, and you've done all of this work with your previous characters and previous playthroughs. You'll have 5 skill points to play with, and then 5 extra potion charges. So you'll be at sitting at 9 potion charges.
At level 1, you'll have 5 skill points and 9 potions ready to go.
Absolutely. You just claim those things down, you're good to go for the season.
And your map reveal.
And your map reveal.
So
that goes back
Карта будет открыта. Если ты уже прошел сюжетку и открыл карту, карта на новых персонажах будет открыта на сезоне.
What is it? It's the 6th today?
Today's the 6th, yes.
Okay, so I have 14 days.
14
I have
days.
2 weeks. What should I be doing in these next 2 weeks? And so one was, I better get the campaign done because I really want to
complete the campaign.
Fight the Malignant. But now, like, if you had places to go to, like, dig deep on clearing the fog and dig deep on finding the altars, because those are going to carry into the season.
Yeah, all of that stuff will carry over with you.
Okay, so then, Tim,
Блять, третий тип это чисто я. Сидит такой, кивает тупо.
We're talking about carrying over progress based on your. How do I ensure that the progress, like the most progress?
Да вопросами по пою можно на любом стриме заебывать.
Yeah, Tim, tell us.
Yeah, it's a great question. For various technical implementation reasons, we do actually need you to log in on existing characters to kind of self-migrate some of your data with this. So this is something that we implemented based on player feedback that we got. So we put it in as quickly as we could. It is in for season 1, but what we need you to do, once season 1 comes out, actually once the patch comes out, you don't even have to wait until July 20th. You can do this on July 18th, which is when the patch goes live. You should log in with characters that have the most progress. If you have a single character you played, or if you have one character that, hey, on this
Если у тебя дохуя персонажей, короче, засчитываться будет прогресс от самого развитого персонажа твоего. Того, на котором ты все открыл нахуй.
Is going to be propagated across your entire account. It'll be saved as, hey, this is just unlocked for your whole account now. At that point, any character you log on, either one of your existing alts or any new character you make in seasons, will now have all of that progress. So you have to do it
Весь
once.
прогресс переходит.
After you've done that, it is now saved to your account,
до нового сезона персонажа. Короче, то, что изначально должно было работать так, теперь они сделали. Про пепел я все проебал, я чат читал.
You are ridiculously overpowered when you first start playing. Like, that is a lot of extra power.
It will accelerate you a little bit as you start.
And because that is a big caveat, like, we will be reminding everyone. I'm going to be, like, literally screaming from the rooftops. I know we will be posting it in our patch notes on that come out for the patch on the 18th, just to remind people that, yes, log into your characters beforehand. Even if you log in, like, if you jump into the season later on, you can log into those characters with the most amount of progress.
Что тут Dungeon Master забыл, я не понял.
Because there'll probably be questions, but one is, I don't do that for whatever. I go on vacation, I'm not playing, I come back, the season started. I can still log in my Eternal Realm character and have all that progress brought to
Это пояс стрим.
Yes. Even after the season started. So it's not like,
Тут добавили скверну в Diablo и разные цвета сакетов.
It's there forever. Functionally, from this point forward, anytime you ever log in on a character, it will just check, like, hey, does this character have any progress that's not already credited on your account? Cool, I'm now crediting it to your account.
Right. And so and that's for the seasonal. So if I think about the Eternal Realm, like, for example, my Necromancer has everything. I've got the full bar on renown on all 5. Not humble bragging. That's a point of fact.
Humble bragging.
Not humble bragging.
Absolutely.
So for the next 5 minutes, we're going to talk about
So
this.
let's talk about how good my Necromancer is. No, but all I'm saying is I have a Sork that has not had the same level of progress in the world. So after the 18th, when I log in my Necro and all that progress gets put to my account, when I go to log in my Sork next, even on the Eternal Realm, my Sork will now have all the progress that my Necro has.
Он повторяет, он говорит, блядь, у меня есть персонаж с открытой картой, блядь, я создаю нового, и у него тоже будет открытая карта. Он просто повторяет по второму разу всю информацию. Это особый какой-то дядька.
You get another character who's gotten everything in Scott's Glen, who's unlocked, like, all the fog of war, has found all the Altars Lilith. If I log in on my Fractured Peaks character, and just by doing that, all of that credit will now be transferred to my Scott's Glen character. When I log into my Scott's Glen character, all of that credit will be applied to my Fractured Peaks characters. At that point, all of the credit of the progress
Как обзор пива у Мэдисона, блядь.
has been propagated to the entirety of my account.
Right. So it becomes an and.
It's not just like, yeah, it's and. It's not like the one account that has the most stuff and then I want to log in that one. No, you want to log into every account that might have, like, tons of progress that they've made in different directions. Right.
And I think that just, again, hey, let's talk about managing expectations. Some of you might be saying, like, wow, that sounds a little clunky. And I think the point that Tim was trying to make was, hey, prior to season 1, we had actually talked about that you wouldn't have any renown progress carryover. You would have to go find the Altars of Lilith.
Да.
You would have to go clear the Fog of War.
Часть бесплатных уровней будет и часть с платных БП.
When launching the game, or prior to launching the game, the original plan was that there was no transition of state from Eternal Realm to Seasonal Realm.
Можно вообще нихуя не слушать и просто слушать краткий пересказ вот этого типа, короче, всей информации, о которой они только что поговорили.
And wanting to make sure that we were listening to the players, we put in a system that allowed us to do that, but is not the most smoothest, most sophisticated, because we were doing it under very tight time constraints as quickly as possible.
Hey, did you want it done? Did you want it done? The answer is yes.
I'm just saying, like, that wasn't the design from the start was not to do this, log in a character on the 18th and make it pass.
Yeah,
that's what we had to do to make it happen for season 1.
And this was based off of, obviously player feedback that we've gotten since launch. So this is us implementing it quickly to address, the feedback that you guys have been giving. And then on top of that, I like a huge shout out to our engineers for getting this all implemented before we actually jump into the season.
Much like the Nightmare Dungeon teleport,
Exactly.
like miracles can happen and very quickly. So
a lot of these actually end up with us going to an engineer and asking how long it would take to do it, and the first answer is to do it right.
First answer is they cry.
Yeah. And then there's like, okay, well, what about to make it work right now? And always, if you told me you wanted to do this X months ago, I could have done it way easier because we implemented it completely differently. So. Yeah, we make it work, but sometimes it.
После стрима почекаем описание сезона.
To get the progress propagated, we would have made it a smoother version if we knew months ago.
All right, all right, like zoom in on me. Zoom in on me.
Come closer.
Let's do that. Okay, it's not gonna happen. There it is. Okay, yeah, all right. It's a live game. We know we need to it's a live game. We know we are looking at. Trying to make improvements based on the feedback that we're getting from players. We're playing the game ourselves, and we're kind of seeing how everything is really feeling as it's all coming together with a giant audience of players playing and enjoying the game. we want to make sure that we are making the right changes as quickly as we can for the community. Some of those things are a lot harder than others. But like all the feedback, like Adam, you called out some things really early on at the program, like, you know, we're hearing feedback about, you know, this and this, and like, you know, inventory space. We talked about gems last time and things we want to do there. We're trying to move very quickly in a lot of these things. Some of them are a lot more challenging technically to do than others, but we are rapidly moving on as many changes as we can because we are fervently trying to make the very best version of Diablo 4 possible in the fastest time frame that we can to deliver to the player base, because you know we're players too. We also want the same things. So just know that we're working hard.
Он как Крис Уилсон заговорил, это все, это плохой знак. Он говорит, поймите, мы играем тоже, говорит, в Diablo, мы тоже игроки. Мы будем стараться сделать лучше Diablo или Elite Game. Зря он это пизданул. Очень зря.
I can attest that whenever Joe would like to make a change based on feedback he's seen from reading it wherever he reads it, the first version is always, can we do this immediately? That is always the first request. Never like, hey, let's get this in eventually. When it makes sense and when it's comfortable. No, it's always, could we do this right now? Is it possible for us to do this right now?
Well,
so
I want
that's
to
the first version.
I want to move the Overton window where I just expect everything to be done in 6 seconds.
But this is the thing about like about doing it safely. Like I think one of the sort of the junior mistakes some people can make is this idea of like time is only what it takes to implement, and it's not. It's time is also what it takes to test and make sure that it's robust and stable. And so that's one of the things that like when you look at we have a follow the sun QA organization around the world, and that's what allows us to do, I don't know, we're what to 15, 16 hotfixes or more now.
Yeah.
And
Осуждаю тебя, дура ты нахуй, неадекватная в чате.
Some heroic engineers who can turn stuff around very quickly, but we also have some heroic QA teams around the world who are helping us make sure that when we make these changes, we're doing it in a safe way. So, but I appreciate your patience on that. And so this is exciting. Season 1, Season of the Malignant.
Yes. It's finally here.
Yes.
I'm waiting to reveal this for a long
2 weeks?
time.
In 2 weeks, and again, like Tim
It's
had
not
mentioned,
technically here for you all, but soon, very soon.
as Tim had mentioned, we will have a patch on the 18th for Diablo 4 that will contain all the changes that will be coming in with Season 1.
Yep.
If Tiffany Watt were here, who was on our campfire chat before,
Yep.
she categorized our 103 patch as chonky.
Right.
I will categorize in Tiffany Watt's words
The technical
as
term, yeah.
super chonky for Season 1. It actually is our largest, or chonkster, as Tim called it. I think we were chonkers. So we're going to pull up the Wikipedia entry and actually go through it, the history of chonkers. But yeah, it is very big. So we will have notes up for that. And again, players can prepare for Season 1 by completing the campaign for sure.
Doing the campaign,
and making
clear the
sure,
fog of war.
clear fog of war, discover the map, and of course, get all your altars. So lots to come for Diablo 4. And then again, we also have just more improvements that will be in that patch. What class our balance changes.
Если есть ссылка на страницу, где все это написано, еще раз киньте, пожалуйста.
Name it, I can go on. There's even some reward changes coming for some Nightmare and Helltide related activities as well, some endgame activities, because I've been hearing some feedback regarding like, hey, it would be great if we can get like maybe better rewards with some of these activities, and so I know some of those changes are coming in that actual update as well. But I know we want to do Q&A.
We do.
Yeah.
And this is a live stream, by the way.
Yeah.
So I know we get sometimes people are like, I don't know if this
Говорит,
is live.
кстати,
No,
это
this is
ж
so
прямая
live.
трансляция.
So we're
И
actually
достаю
gonna be
член
bringing
нахуй.
in, we're actually going to kick off Rod, because we're done with him. No, I'm just kidding. Rod is actually just
I'm actually going to go and annoy you from the side.
I know.
Пиздуй отсюда.
Rod's going to jump over here.
Старый
We're actually gonna
пройдоха.
bring back in Chris and Ryan from the Immortal team, who will be jumping in
I
here.
think you're supposed to open that chair. I didn't do my job.
Rod did-
I didn't do my job.
Rod had one job.
Блядь, я забыл, куда идти, в обратную сторону прошел.
We're gonna bring these guys in. I know we have
О,
questions,
вот она, клешня
either
ебаная,
from
крадется, блядь,
different
голым.
people, in
Дэнди
Twitch chat.
ебать.
So if you guys have questions, of course, feel free to drop in questions and
Chris is
everything.
not quite in. You need to
Oh.
switch.
Дальше опять Diablo
I
Immortal,
need
да?
to scooch too,
Scooch a
because I
little
think
bit over.
I'm
Yeah, I think
like,
we can scooch a little bit more.
Live television.
Или они вопросы из чата будут читать?
And we're scooching, live scooching, ladies
So
and
here's the
gentlemen.
problem. We also the
Like all
production
kinds of
team hates
cables
me.
beneath us and
I want to give a shout out to our production group behind here because I literally go like, oh, we're only going to have like 2 people, and then we continue.
Тир 5. Где про тир 5 вопрос был? Да, 5-й уровень
We're
мира.
up to like 20 people, and this room can't hold this many people. So I apologize. They are angels.
Вот эти
and
два
they deal with me.
ублюдка ебаных отвечают за Diablo Immortal, если что, вот те, которые слева сидят. Ну, по нему и видно, как бы.
Oh, perfect. We do have some questions up here. Someone's also calling me, which is awful at this
Any
time.
updates around respecting a character?
Any updates around, this is for D4 specifically, any updates around respecting characters?
Yeah, so right now I think that there's a few different concerns we're hearing from the community. There's the general cost of respecting characters, and then there is at various stages of the game. And then there is the actual experience of respecting a character, particularly when you're deeper into the Paragon system. Like that takes a lot of effort. So we have longer-term plans on the user experience side, like on the menu side. Things we want to do to improve the flow of allowing players to respect their characters. These are things we're actively investigating. We have designs for things we're looking to add into seasons in the future, but we don't have a date that we're committing to today for that. And in terms of the actual price of that, we're evaluating things on like the gold economy, and we're taking a look at like what players are doing on a regular basis.
Блин, не отвлекай своими маразматическими, блядь, заявлениями.
But because we're satisfied with where things feel like in the 150. One thing we will be adding though is as part of seasons, there is now a new reward that you can collect as you're going through the season journey at the end of each season, called the Scroll of Amnesia. Which, once you collect a Scroll of Amnesia, you can use that one time to basically reset the entirety of a character all in one go for no gold cost at all.
Блять,
So these can be like pretty fun.
они выглядят как студенты, которые написали ебаную курсовую, 90% воды, им надо как-то выкручиваться, и они рассказывают, как будто там пиздец, блять. Там новые ракетные топлива, блять, двигатели, колонизируем Марс, блять.
Awesome.
Охуенно, я тоже в шоке. Приветствую.
8 miles west. How much will the Blood Knight cost? I know we covered this early on.
Блять, по Immortal вопрос.
The Blood Knight will cost nothing. The Blood Knight is free.
It's free. So if you're a new
Blood Knight бесплатный
player,
персонаж.
Or you're a existing Immortal player, you can literally jump in, start playing the Blood Knight on
Ебать,
day
какие же
one,
они
which is
разные.
on July 13th. So and of course you can play
Вот
the
эти вот
campaign.
создатели
We mentioned
Diablo
that
Immortal,
that's
какие же они,
essentially
сука,
custom made
разные
everything
прям.
associated with it.
That's right.
For D4, I should be more prepared with these.
That's usually
That's
a
usually-
safe statement all the time. Is you should be more
We have
prepared.
Rod judging me off screen right here, and I'm just like, awesome.
Perfect. Little side story real quick. So we have a thing in design called design armor, where like as you're about to like talk about an idea with someone, you're like, this might be a really bad idea, but and that's you putting up your shield saying, this is my design armor. Saying, I know that this might be really, really bad, but we're talking about it anyway. So yes, I should probably be more prepared, but here we go. That's your design armor.
Question from Fig Larna.
You committed to saying the names.
I know I did.
We don't want anyone to suggest that these are not gold questions.
Yeah, from Fig Larna. Will seasonal mechanics be added to the Eternal Realm after the season ends? I think that's something we didn't actually clarify really well.
That is a great question that actually gets asked internally as well a lot. Like, hey, this is awesome. Are we going to keep it around forever? Initially, no. Like, initially, the version of the melee mechanics that you're seeing are not planned to show up in the Eternal Realm. However, we are reserving the right as developers that if we see something cool and we think, wow, this is just fantastic, this should just be part of the game, that we will just make it part of the game. So it is absolutely an option.
Говорят, если механика лиги понравится, добавим ее в стандарт.
Might be that way right away. We might be planning that, hey, this will show up in Eternal Realm right away.
Про Immortal инфы не надо, спасибо. Это да. Да-да-да. Вот про Immortal инфа, вот как я реагирую на нее, блин.
Yeah, I want to stay on this just 1 second longer. That's not to suggest that we're not going to be as part of the seasons.
Ребят, никто не нашел, где висит патч в текстовом виде.
Like stuff that will persist beyond
Инфа про Immortal минус 10 тысяч человек сразу.
We really do want to hone in on the idea that we're like Malignant Hearts are very powerful, as we talked about before. They're really, really cool. They're very exciting. We can't add something exciting like that every season if it's expected to all last, because the game's going to be a complete mess.
Right.
So we're not going to do that. What we would end up needing to do is all of those things would be extremely incremental in terms of what they offered to the players over the course of time.
Фистинг называется клан.
Extraordinarily dense in terms of what the players expected to do on a regular basis.
And to understand.
We know that there's opportunities to extend things like add more endgame features. We know that there's more content that we want to add to the game in general that like everybody's going to need forever, and we're going to be looking at those opportunities as we go. But things like Malignant Hearts, we don't want to have something of that size in Season 1, then add something of similar size in Season 2, and then Season 3 and Season 4, because the game's going to get very extremely dense and difficult for players to really navigate. We want to be able to like take these things away, introduce new ideas, but having known what worked really well with Malignant Hearts and what stuff we could maybe have improved upon, we get to take all those ideas forward.
It's also part of the cool factor of the season is that when you're going in, these Malignant Hearts, it's there for the season. So even, let's take a player that, let's say, doesn't like to play alts except of the same class. I just love playing Barbarian. And, you know, I have 3 different Barbarians already on Eternal because it's the perfect
rogue
class.
Player, and all you play is rogues, and all you do is build rogues.
There might be a lot of those too. But let's say a Barbarian, that's my hypothetical, I'm sticking with it. So I'm a Barbarian lover, and I've made all these Barbarians. Season 1 is still an exciting time to make
Ладно, это не серьезная херня, там ничего не надо.
all of these new Malignant powers that allow you to make radically new builds that are completely different from Barbarians you played in the past. Your endgame is going to be very different. So that excitement goes away if we just say like, oh, all of these powers just exist.
Я не знаю, есть смысл дальше что-то слушать. Вот ты звук выключаешь, вообще нихуя не меняется. Понятно, что он опять рассказывает про кулеры, блядь. Ебать, у челов жопа горит, пиздец. Там все просто в ахуе в чате. Они просто в ахуе. Я не знаю, есть ли смысл дальше смотреть ответы на вопросы. Я думаю, нет, хуйца можно подзабить. Так. Мне через 1,5 часа уже ехать. Попробую найти информацию по сезону в текстовом виде. Конечно, это пиздец. Иди рогу качай. Ой, у нас, смотрите, что они сделали. Прям, они прям молодцы. Они прям как будто бы сами придумали, да, вот эту вот историю. Через 13 дней стартует лига. У нас неделя на рогу и неделя на барба. Ну, я бы не сказал, что грустная. Апгрейд Battle Pass хочет кто-нибудь, если что? До премиум Battle Pass. Чтобы получить вот такую жижу. Или до Super Acceleration Battle Pass. Туда сразу вот кнопочку нажимаете, туда квартира ваша засасывается сразу через системник. Первые 2 недели сезона будут играться нормально. Свежо. Ну, 1-2 недели. Дальше хер его знает. Естественно, страница не найдена. Вот этот тип, это не новый игровой персонаж, если кто-то так подумал. Это новый персонаж в квестовой линии. Просто он будет вас сопровождать, что-то вы с ним общаться будете, долбоеб. New Power, ебать. Но это мы знаем про сердца. Новые боссы будут. 6 новых уникальных предметов и 7 новых легендарных аспектов. Короче, они решили использовать аспекты как рычаг давления на мету. И именно исправлением аспектов, добавлением, удалением аспектов и так далее они будут балансить персонажей, вводить новые классы и так далее, билды точнее. Именно за счет аспектов. Ну и уникалок. Юзайте пепел в Battle Pass для того, чтобы заапдейтить сезонного персонажа with XP, золото, better chance to rare material и так далее. Есть ощущение, что пепел, чуть-чуть пепла тебе дадут, а весь остальной пепел будет в платной части Battle Pass. И платники получат за счет этого пепла больше XP, больше голды нахуй. Лучшие шансы для того, чтобы получить рарные предметы, блять. И многое-многое другое. И если оно будет так, то все. Мы сезон, конечно же, посмотрим. Но после сезона Diablo 4 удалится сразу. Так что, ребята, все, кто был только в Diablo и никогда не играл в Поя, можете потихонечку переходить, готовиться как бы с духом, потому что если нам в бесплатной версии компендиума не дадут весь пепел, который можно получить в игре, это все. Это ёбаный провал. Это конец просто. Это просто конец для Diablo. Это просто пизда. Я надеюсь, что весь бесплатный, потому что иначе это была бы последняя капля. Да-да, они постоянно так говорят. В Immortal тоже так говорили. И что сейчас в итоге в Immortal, блядь? Не, я тебя не отговаривал от игры в Поя. Я хотел, чтобы ты нервы свои поберегла. Я тебя вообще никого не отговариваю. Все должны играть в Поя каждый день. Просто не для духом слабых. Только для тех, кто готов. Я как Илидан. Вы хотите зайти в Поя, кнопочку нажимаетесь, я появляюсь, говорю, вы не готовы, блядь. И все. Завершите сезон и чаптер, чтобы получить награды. Новые легендарные аспекты, титулы, скрулы амнезии, блядь. Новые скилл 3 и парагон борт резет. Получишь какую-то жижу, которая будет резетать бесплатно скилл 3 и парагон борты резетать. Ба. Плюс, ну, Battle Pass похую все. Eldritch Monster, ага, где-то я это уже слышал. Closing and Weapons Transmogrification. Судя по всему, новые трансмоги добавили бесплатные. Ну, ублюдские, скорее всего, но в общем и целом. У меня и так нет нервов. Нет нервов, не стыдись шахматы играть. Что весь бесплатно будет, хорошо, это хорошо. Battle Pass 90 уровень, замечательно. Так и сейчас Парагон очень дешево резетывается. Да и до этого он не особо стоил. И я фулл резетовал персонажа уже несколько раз. Сколько я тратил там максимум? 2 миллиона, блядь, голды. Это все такое мелочи. Так что я с тобой полностью тут согласен. Привет. Долго сидеть будешь? Нет, мне через 1,5 часа надо быть уже ехать, блядь, в другой город. Я бы хотел, чтобы мне можно было сейчас лечь спать и никуда не делать ничего. Мне грустно. Че, они все еще пиздят? Только на торнадо бил пересела. Мое почтение.
The season starts.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So, when
Oh,
we
this
think-
is from Godic, by the way. So there you go.
Okay,
I just
so
wanted
this
to.
is a real person. Yes, this is a good question. So we made a number of adjustments during the preseason period to make sure that we bring some builds back into where we expect
Блять,
them to
чат, это
be,
пиздец,
functionally,
отдельная история.
performance-wise. When we go into the seasonal release, we do want to create structured moments in time that we're going to be talking about, I think, more in future streams.
Ой, все. Они меня задушнили. Все, что на стриме происходило, они вкидывали минимум полезной информации какой-то, блядь. Дохуя воды. Много смеялись над тем, какие они классные, какую работу они проделали. А потом дед тот ебанутый, который нам очень сильно всем понравился, повторял все это просто сокращенно. Это они винрар бородатый посадили рядышком. И все. В общем, 25 июля в 2 по МСК, а у меня в 9 утра, приятненько, стартует первый сезон в Diablo. Моменты, которые не подвергнутся изменениями. Скакуна не получите, пока сюжетку не пройдете. Расположение алтарей Лилит тоже меняться не будет. После смерти персонажа, привязанного к хардкорному режиму в рамках сезона, будет сохранен только прогресс сезонного путешествия и предметы в сундуке. Все остальное сбросится. Предметы в сундуке остаются, и прогресс остается. Ну, блять, я на сайте сейчас смотрю, тут 25-го. Хотя написано через 13 дней. Может, 25-го это на консолях, я надеюсь. Чтоб болта завернули, блять, консольщикам. Мое почтение всем, кто с консоли смотрит стрим. С окончанием сезона персонаж и все нажитое имущество перемещаются на основной профиль, то есть на стандарт все переходит, как, собственно, и говорили. Они хорошо поя научились копировать, молодцы. Мне друг подарил 8 лямов. Ебать, у тебя там друг. Ножки скинул ему в чулочку за это? Если нет, можно я скину. Даже если бы скидывание парагона 50 или 100 лямов бы стоило, это ж гроши ебаные. Ты ж на одном персонаже нафармишь, блядь, за неделю, наверное, лярдов 5. Ну, если будешь прям фармить голду и торговать в Дискорде. Тихонько качай доску парагона, скоро третью открою. Мое почтение. Ульта все равно откат, секунд 7, бисовые откаты. На продление, на... Хер его знает. Ну, ты же можешь посмотреть у меня, где я бегу, ульту нажимаю. У меня там секунды 3 откат. И у меня не максимальные ноды. Ты просто левел прокачаешь, сила предметов будет выше, и процентные значения, которые ты сможешь получить на предметах, станут выше. И все нормально будет. Возможность перейти к ознакомлению без... Так, сюжетку скипаем. Необходимо хотя бы один раз пройти основную сюжетку для того, чтобы получить допуск к сезону. Иначе пойдете нахер, кто сюжетку вообще фулл заскипал. Таких, я думаю, нету. В игре появятся сезонные квесты, уникальная кастомизация для каждого с ограниченным периодом на получение, например, как было с сетом завоевателя. Короче, на сезоне будет внешки сетов, которые вы сможете получить только на сезоне. Как он закончится, эти внешки у вас на аккаунте останутся, но больше их получить будет невозможно. Но я не знаю, у меня хуже предметы, я же говорю, у меня ульта кдшится там 3-4 секунды. Может, патч какой-то выходил, удлиняли ее это КД или уменьшали, я не знаю. Может, у тебя мод не максимальный, сам по себе ролл, минимальный просто, я не знаю. Если верить словам разработчиков, кто верит, плюс чат, пожалуйста, сказанных в рамках трансляции, то над новыми сюжетами и ответвлениями будут работать талантливые люди. Да, блядь. Новое снаряжение, легендарные аспекты, новые подземелья с уникальными противниками, новые боссы подземелий будут, скорее всего. Новые способности, которые позволят иначе взглянуть на привычные классы. Новые способности — это я первый раз слышу. Ролл максимальный. Хер его знает тогда. Тогда мне не к чему доебаться. Не знаю. Короче, есть страница на вотпаке, где все, что они в трансляции рассказали, походу уже пару дней лежит просто на русском языке. И все. Просто чекайте это дерьмо. Вот оно, все это. Скрины уже, ну, все на месте. Три месяца сезон длится и так далее. Как-то так. Я думаю, рогу надо хотя бы создать. И все, и ливать нахер готовится. К поездке, блядь. Как же мне хуево. Только еще надо вернуть. Алертс. 9 секунд отката добыть такого не может. Хотя, может, я ульту с хуриканой перепутал. Не знаю, сейчас посмотрю. Секундочку, секундочку, секундочку. Ираем, ту-ту-ту-ду, хурикен. Это мне надо на волка заходить смотреть, я не знаю. Может, я такой невнимательный. Игра обрезана. Осуждаю. Блять, у меня все. Да я понатыкал, блять, перед этим. Перед тем самым. И все, и до свидания. Ёбаный в рот. И так с каждой херней. Я не ебу, как теперь это менять, блять. Я просто не ебу. Теперь тут нет функции подогнать по размеру, блять, экрана. Такое дерьмище, я рот ебал этого, блять, ОБС, а он стал хуже. Я просто рот его ебал. Пиздец, блять. Хурикан без отката. У меня был чуть-чуть хурикан с откатом. Значит, у тебя и правда КДРа побольше. Подожди, ну это ж... Подожди. Сейчас я тебе кое-что покажу. Посмотрю. Да, 9 секунд. В гайде у меня 9 секунд откат ульты. Ну, значит, хуйца на клыка. Нельзя, значит, сделать откат. Я знаю, что у нас есть абилити, которая позволяет увеличить длительность ульты. А, я понял. Смотри. Короче, я не помню, что за это отвечает, за эту механику. Если тебе низ экрана видно, сейчас смотри внимательно. Так, подожди, я тебе показываю это хоть? Да, показываю. Смотри на таймер ульты. 10 секунд сейчас появилось, чекай, 9 секунд. Хуяк 7 сразу. У нас есть прок, чтобы сокращать кулдаун ульты на 2 секунды. Я уже не помню от чего. Вот. И оно может прокнуть просто 3-4 раза подряд, и у тебя ульта будет кадешиться 2 секунды. Такая вот хуйня. Там не видно было, да? С захватом экрана та же история. Ёбаное говно. Сори, ребят. Сори. Ну это пиздец, ОБС блядский. Обосрал мне всю вообще сегодня, блядь, жизнь. Короче, там прокает хуйня, которая откат убирает. Так что я просто в какой-то момент, как только у меня ульта закончилась, добивал, наверное, моба, смотрел, а там в это время прокнула пару раз эта херня. Вот. Так что в общем и целом усредненное, если значение брать, там нормальный откат. Эх. Два аспекта не работают вместе. Какие? Два одинаковых точно нет. Два одинаковых аспекта не работают. Так. Ля ты какой. А у них ёбланы все классы одинаковые, да? Нормальный такой. Нормальный такой. Ля. Смотри, какая пусечка. Это я Ивана Зола, что ли, создаю? Что? Осуждаю тебя. Осуждаю, блядь. Какие угли, блядь? Я тебе так скажу, 7 секунд это не так уж много, при том, что там может пару раз прокнуть и 4 секунды от этого времени снести. Вполне достойная история. Пиздец, Покса добавили прическу, а мою не добавили. Вот такого долбоеба мощного. Но он должен быть выберет. Чем меньше волос, тем лучше. Правильно, мы же ассасин. Градиентный такой мощный, правильно? С зелеными волосами. Так, для начала вот эту вот появистику все можно куда-нибудь. Оп. Потестить экспедицию и закупиться балком. Попробуй. Сори, я не увидел, скорее всего, первый раз. Попробуй. Гайд на экспедицию есть на канале. Экспедиция всегда кормит нормально. И перфекционистка же не зря искала макс-роллы. Просто я так подумал, сократить с 40 секунд до, блядь, 7 уже. Шансом иногда прокнуть там 2 секунды КД ульты. Это уже как бы нихуя себе. Но в чем суть? На сезонах же обещают item power предметов поднять, а значит и ноды на колдаун редакшн будут больше. Так что я думаю, рано или поздно добьемся нулевого колдауна. Так, ну хочется ему какой-то макияжик мощный. Он же ассасин, правильно? Вот такой какой-нибудь, да? Как будто он лежал на спине, ему кончили в оба глаза. Так жестко, что аж растеклось все, блядь. Это да, это мой ассасин точно. Так, ну этот персонаж точно должен быть с какими-то проколотыми штуками. Весь нахуй как Пейн, блядь. Но какими-то такими минималистичными, чтобы не звенели, как мы будем подкрадываться. Так, и нужно что-то ассасинское, нужно что-то мощное. Спартаки нужны какие-то прям ассасинские. Ну, вот такой, как Демон Хантер какой-то ублюдский, да? Вот такой вот. Ну, саньё ебаное, вот такое. Такое чисто. На микродолбоёбичах. Ебать, кто же ты? ПВП меня убить могут только когда я без ульты. Я бы вообще не советовал ПВПшиться в этой игре. И тем более на Вервольфе. Для ПВП другой билд надо будет делать. Тут проблема, что нет возможности иметь два билда. Под ПВП нужен совсем другой билд, какой-нибудь Шерет или типа того, вот этот быстрый волк, который телепортируется на персонажа, и вот этот вот шустрый такой, мощный. Эдвард. Ну, почти Эдвард. Ебать я Эдвард, конечно, рот я ебал себе. И посмотри. Как на этом играть, блять. Вчера видел у челика комиссар рыба. Блять, нормально. Попоя, старт новый 12-18 августа. Ну вот как раз нам ровно 2 недели дают пройти Diablo 4. И потом это... Сосать Бибу. Мы сразу затариваемся, потому что мы мощные. Мощные. Ой, я, конечно, рот ебал того, блядь. Дайте мне пунктуру, что ли. Дайте мне, что ли, пунктуру и эту. Вот это вот. Фистинг блейды, пожалуйста. Фистинг блейды можно мне? Это да. Это шустрый только на меня подлетает, я циклом броню жму. Влетает, и тут же дохну от торнадо у Урика. Ага. Говорю, оно очень сильно не забаланшенное. Но если бы я билда собирал для ПВП, я бы вообще по-другому с ног на голову собирал билды, и парагоны тоже совсем другие бы были. Над внешностью сразу поработаем. Посмотрим, как он выглядит в шмотках. Перчатки. Шляпы нету. Шляпу не дают. Почему шляпу не дают-то? Это какая-то авторитетная история? Ну вот, поэтому у тебя она и не бесконечная, чтобы ты не была бессмертной. Я думаю, это совсем бы читерство какое-то было. Какой никчемный балбес. Чисто селянин какой-то. Вот он коз, блядь, доил. Ему сказали, теперь ты ассасин. И он такой, да, теперь я ассасин. Взял батина это. Батину вот эту вот биту взял. Дилда мамкиная прихуярил веревками. И говорит, у меня арбалет теперь. Пошел убивать всех. Мощный, блядь. Самый модный на деревне, ага. Ля. Ля... О, какой я нефритовый подлец. Ебать. А не дохуя ли хороших шмоток на ассасина? Ну тут чисто Спартак, блядь. Кровь и моча. Еще один нефритовый, точно такой же. Нет, разные. Ух, сука, какой ты весь хороший, блядь. Ля, еще нефритовая жижа какая-то. Серенького мальчика будем собирать. А в сером все выглядит уже совсем по-другому. Хуя себе. За что такие мощные наручи, блядь? В шортиках побежим, чтоб поддувало. Я шредер, если что, это про меня. Так, я нашел неплохие с наколенниками, чтоб на роликах катался, не уебался. Ну такой какой-то мальчишка перепуганный. С кинжалами я точно бегать не буду, но я вот эти вот 2 скальпеля напялю. Ля, я нахуй кто? Я, блядь, киберпанк я? Да ужас, юбку не дали пацану нормальному, блядь, мощному, авторитетному.
Тебе что-нибудь выковать?
Выковать. Уиковать. Так, все, это уже походит на то, что я сейчас побегу качаться. А мне уже пора собираться. Ладно, ребятка, спасибо всем, кто был сегодня на трансляции. Спасибо, кто до конца досидел. Пошел, я потопал. Не знаю, завтра, скорее всего, начнем только на ассасине. Потому что сегодня буду отдыхать. По-любому я приеду просто спать, я завалюсь до талого. Все, ребят, всем спасибо, всем пока, счастья, здоровья, блядь, не болейте, что все охуенно у вас было.